Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help. And King of Floors, your vinyl, laminate, and engineered flooring superstore.
Donnie and Dolly, as always, presentation of Able Auctions and King of Floors. It is a Wednesday. And all of our guests today are sponsored by the O's marketing team at Royal LePage, the go-to source for all your Central Vancouver Island real estate needs. Find out more at wearerealestate.com as we bring in Jeff Paterson. Jeff, thanks for doing this. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm a whole lot better now that I have disco tips from Dollywall.
Yeah. Jeff doing this in a white suit, by the way.
Hey, Jeff, you got to wear black. You got to wear black.
With the white
shorts.
suit.
I'm in shorts and T-shirt. Not really feeling the disco today.
Oh, hey, you got to get in a tank top. It's hot weather.
All right.
Hey, Jeff, you just as somebody who's followed the Canucks for a long time and reported on them as well, just given up on their chances of, that's our white spot poll question today, given up on their chances of ever doing well at the draft lottery.
Yeah, I think I have. And you have to keep in mind, Donnie, that it is a lottery. And by definition, it's going to produce way more losers than winners. I mean, that's just the way a lottery works. So, yeah, you've got a ticket, you got a chance. But let's be honest. I mean, the odds say that their chances are 5.4% of finishing first tonight or seeing their number come up in that for the first selection. So, 95% chance that it's not going to happen. I'm a guy that sort of believes in the probabilities. Now, we've seen other teams win the draft lottery, so it can be done. But, yeah, it just sort of feels like Canucks luck or lack of Canucks luck is going to have them where they're, the percentages tell them that they're going to be. There's an outside chance they could slide all the way to 11th, but, chances are that they're going to have a top 10 pick, and they can still get a really good player there. But in terms of the lottery balls falling the way, Lady Luck smiling on them, whatever you want to say. I don't hold out a ton of hope of that happening for the Canucks tonight.
Okay. On the weekend, Jeff, the Canucks signed Vasili Podkolzin to an entry-level contract. What should we expect from him next season? Or I shouldn't say what. Where should we expect him to play next season? Vancouver, Abbotsford? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think he's signed, sealed, and will soon be delivered to the big league team. I think that deal was done with an eye to getting him over here, as soon as they can. Now, I think he said he was going to train in Russia for much of the summer and then arrive here in August and get ready for his first NHL training camp. And I don't think there's much looking back. I mean, this is a guy's a top 10 pick. Like, they have designs on him joining the mix. Whether he can slot in a top 6 position to start, or if he slides a little lower in the lineup. But we know that lower in the lineup is where the Canucks have had problems. So if you can inject a guy who's been playing professionally, even if it's the KHL, like you saw how much a guy like Nils Höglander benefited from playing professionally in Sweden. He didn't skip a beat as he made the jump here. And, I think the Höglander example is instructive because they're basically the same age. Höglander just turned 20 in December before training camp. Here's Podkolzin, who's going to arrive here as a 20-year-old. And, so much of Höglander's success came from working hard. And that's the one thing that we've heard about Vasili Podkolzin, that, he may not be a great finisher, that there shouldn't be huge expectations on big numbers early in his National Hockey League career. But the one thing that he can control, and he does, is his work rate. And he's got some skill to go along with it. So I'm excited. I think that, he should be able to slide into the National Hockey League fairly seamlessly. And I think one thing we've seen with Travis Green is, when he has confidence that a young player is ready to achieve at the NHL level, he's not afraid to use him. When you look at Pedersen being slotted in as a center, even though he came to Vancouver as a winger and he hasn't looked back. And Quinn Hughes, there was a month of sort of breaking him in, and then a month into his first full season in the NHL, he was running the first unit power play of an NHL team. Last year it was Höglander, and I think that Vasili Podkolzin profiles as a guy that Travis Green's going to love to coach, and I think I'm looking forward to him joining the mix. I don't think there's much doubt that he's going to step into the National Hockey League and he'll stay in the NHL. how much success he has as a rookie. Obviously, that's going to be up to him and some of the factors that are in play. But I think the Canucks will give this guy every opportunity to join the mix, and I think they're really excited about just how hard and how hard he works and sort of that compete level that we talk about. That, if Jake Virtanen had been able to show up and compete and battle every single night, who knows how his career would have turned out. I don't think there's going to be any issues about Podkolzin in terms of taking shifts off.
Hey, Jeff, look, the players got to come back. They got to be better. They got to have good off seasons, let's be honest. But I feel the same for the coaching staff. They have to be better too. Let's be honest. It looks like Travis Green's going to add another assistant coach. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, they finished dead last in this Canadian division. The fact that it didn't cost anybody their job or that there really hasn't been any change, I think surprises me a little bit. So I'm not here. We all lost jobs not that long ago. I'm not here suggesting that, heads had to roll, but I think change can benefit the hockey club. And, as far as the returning coaching staff, if they bring back the people that they've got, a guy like Newell Brown, 2 years ago, he was the author, the architect of, the fourth best power play in the National Hockey League. Obviously, they lost Elias Pettersson for half of this year, but the component parts are there to be better than 25th, and that's ultimately where they finished this year. So, I think that Newell Brown has shown, when you go back a decade when he was working here the first time around, the power play was a massive part of the Canucks' success on their run to the Stanley Cup, and they're at a different point in their competitive cycle, but they had a ton of success with the power play just 2 years ago, and Pettersson's older and more experienced. Hughes has seen what the NHL has to offer. Those guys, there's no reason that they shouldn't continue to get a whole lot better when it comes to working on the power play. The power play was a game changer for the Canucks 2 seasons ago, and so that to me is an area that has to get better. I think it will get better, and that's a path forward. Like when you think of all right, they're going to have trouble in free agency. They don't have a lot of cap space, but improvement from within with those key players, and particularly on the power play, that's an area that I think the Canucks have to think that they're going to be better next season. And then you look at the second unit, which didn't contribute anything this year. And a year ago, you had Virtanen. He had 6 power play goals. Gaudette had some success on the power play as well in that second unit. Tanner Pearson, there's been a change, but injecting a guy like Jack Rathbone and a guy, a player that can get his shot through from the point, and maybe Podkolzin get some opportunities on the power play as well. So I think the first unit has to be better, and it will, but I also think that there's room for improvement on that second unit, and it'll be interesting to see, who's deployed out there on PP2 when they get around to starting up next season.
What's your theory on the Leafs ouster at the hands of the Habs, Jeff?
I'm surprised, like everybody, Donnie, and I get that playoff hockey is a little bit different than the regular season, but Austin Matthews made goal scoring look so damn easy throughout the regular season. What did he finish with? 41 goals, and to have just one in the postseason, even for a guy that gets the attention that he does, I still thought his goal scoring was at such an elite level this season. I thought it was going to be a case of Montreal trying to prevent the damage, but not containing him entirely. So I do think you have to put it at the feet of the Leafs' best players. We talked about the power play on the Canucks. I mean, there's another area. Toronto had, again, the component parts are in place to just blow anybody out of the water with the power play, and they couldn't get it done. So lots of soul searching, lots of hand wringing in the center of the universe all off season. They're done. The Habs move on, but it is still, even a couple of days later, inexplicable that they couldn't get the job done. And really, I look back at Game 6 overtime when they dominated, and all they needed was a goal to punch their ticket to the next round, and they couldn't get it. So Game 7, you roll the dice, you take your chances. I think they lost that series in Game 6 in overtime when they had the opportunity to get the job done there.
Jets versus Habs, who prevails? And maybe I'll frame the question this way as I go a little further here. Which goaltender do you like better in a series like this, Hellebuyck, Price?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that the Jets have been sitting around as long as they have, and I'm sure they're anxious to get things going here. Hard to argue against Carey Price coming off the series that he just had, but Connor Hellebuyck was terrific against the Oilers. I still think the Jets are going to find a way. Yeah. I think the top end will prevail, whether it's Nick Ehlers or Kyle Connor. I'm a huge Mark Scheifele fan. And then, there's depth pieces there. It's hard to call Blake Wheeler a depth piece, but you get to the third line with Lowry and Kopp and some of those other players. I think Winnipeg in the end is going to have just a little too much for the Montreal Canadiens. But hey, I thought the Leafs. I wasn't sure that Montreal was going to win a game against Toronto, and instead they win 4. So, looking forward to it. There should be two motivated teams and a great opportunity. One of them knows that they're going to the Final Four.
Jeff, thanks for this. We'll talk to you on Friday.
All right, guys. Thank you.